At E3 2019, we all got the announcement that shocked the world. No, not the hero being added to Smash, that only shocked Japan. The Bear and the Bird, motherfucking Banjo and Kazooie are coming to Smash this fall, and I was just a bit excited. Oh! I have missed those two so much, and I just thought this would be a good time to take a trip down memory lane. Banjo-Kazooie was a platforming title released for the Nintendo 64 in 1998 and developed by Rare. It was one of the greatest adventure platformers of the time and arguably even more revolutionary than Super Mario 64. From collecting puzzle pieces, to listening to an ugly yet oddly charming witch, to even turning into a fucking pumpkin, this game had everything you could ever ask for. The worlds were vast and fun to explore. The music was sublime and fit every area perfectly. I could gush about this game for like 13 minutes if I had the time. Oh yeah, that's right, I did that. The game was so well received and beloved that it quickly received a sequel 2 years later with maybe the greatest sequel name ever, Banjo-Tooie. This game took everything from the original and either expanded or improved upon it. There's no more need to collect lives as you now have infinite of them, which makes the whole experience way more enjoyable because this game can actually get pretty tough. They also changed tons of the collectibles, like no longer needing to collect music notes for doors, but now they're used to learn new moves, which, thank the Lord, that's a much better reward. They even made Banjo's voice slightly deeper since this game takes place 2 years later, so naturally he's gotten older. The attention to detail is insane. Although they did also take away the little dance when you collect a Jiggy. Never mind, this game is trash! Banjo-Tooie is one of the few sequels that knew how to expand upon the world and improve the overall adventure. It didn't receive the recognition it deserved, but you could definitely argue this is the superior of the two games. Banjo-Kazooie was definitely one of Rare's most popular IPs, right up there alongside Donkey Kong. The first two games were incredible and left everyone saying, "Oh, I can't wait for Banjo 3! Oh, how wrong we were. September 24th, 2002. I remember it like it was 6,118 days ago, but who's counting? This was the day that Microsoft purchased Rare for $375 million. Nintendo retained the IPs they created like Donkey Kong and Star Fox, but Microsoft became the owners of everything else Rare developed, which yes, included Banjo-Kazooie. This definitely worried a lot of fans about the future of these games, but they still were being worked on by the same developer, so I'm sure they'll be fine. They weren't fine. Pretty early on, Rare released two brand new Banjo-Kazooie games, but still for a Nintendo console. Banjo-Kazooie Grunty's Revenge was released on the Game Boy Advance in 2003 and is essentially a connecting story between the first two games. Grunty tries to travel back in time to stop the events of the first game, and holy shit, that's actually an incredible idea. Obviously her plan fails, which sets the events of Banjo-Tooie in motion. The game definitely isn't bad, but it's not anything special, and I doubt many people even know of it. The other new Banjo game was called Banjo Pilot and is essentially just a Diddy Kong racing clone. In fact, that's exactly what it was meant to be, but after Microsoft purchased Rare, they retooled the game to feature Banjo-Kazooie characters. Yet, as much as I love Banjo-Kazooie, I gotta be honest here, there was no reason to make this game. There's really nothing original about it, and it was just a cash grab since they didn't want to stop development after how much they had done with Diddy Kong. This should have been the first hint that Banjo wasn't going to get the best treatment moving forward. Banjo remained dormant for a while with no new information, but then, out of nowhere, we got a trailer for a brand new Banjo-Kazooie game. It was beautiful. It was HD. Banjo did look like a sex offender, but who gives a shit? Banjo is back. This was everything a fan wanted. An HD look at Spiral Mountain showing that the dynamic duo was back for a brand new adventure to collect Jiggies in Banjo 3. Fuck, if only that's what happened. Instead, we got maybe the most disappointing end to a trilogy I have ever seen. Today, unfortunately, we are taking a look at Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts. Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts was released on November 11th, 2008 for the Xbox 360 and was, of course, developed by Rare. The developers had a few ideas for how they wanted to go about making a brand new Banjo-Kazooie title. The first idea was to simply remake the original Banjo-Kazooie in HD, and the second idea was to involve, quote, more traditional platforming. What the f*** does that even mean? They decided that those ideas were stale and too similar to previous games and had no real appeal or impact. Yeah, because games with similar gameplays have never been successful before, right? So because of those reasons, they decided to move in a completely different direction. Well, this looks nice, a great HD remake of Spiral Mountain with a classic calming theme in the background? How could they possibly screw this up? Oh, they got fat. I've heard of the Freshman 15, but this is more like the Senior 79. This game takes place 8 years after the events of Banjo-Tooie when Banjo and Kazooie took down Gruntilda for good. And since then, apparently they haven't found anything else to do and just sit around, play video games, and eat pizza all day. Not a bad life, but it'd be better if they didn't just shove it down your throat every 10 seconds. I get it. You should have ordered a small pizza. Maybe if you didn't order it at all, you wouldn't be so fat, you lazy fuck. Banjo and Kazooie eventually run into Gruntilda, who somehow is still alive? I guess you know what they say. When you kill someone by knocking them off a cliff, drop a boulder on top of them, then blow them up inside a tank to the point where their body is no longer visible, you better make sure they're dead. Well, who cares, because now it's time to finally face off for the third time. Who the hell do you think you are, and how did you pause the game? This is the Lord of Games, or Log for short, who shows up to try to settle the difference between the two. Log's first idea is to have you compete to see who can collect as many, quote, pointless objects as possible. First off, those aren't even jiggies, but more importantly, how dare you insult the whole premise of the previous games? You say jiggies are pointless, but that's not true at all. They let you put a painting back together. What does your thing do? It just makes you look like a fat kid trying to pick up as much candy as possible at a parade. Log finally puts us all out of our misery, and yeah, you're right, that shit was painful to watch. He says he'll think of something original to settle this feud. Now this has me excited. I am so open to new ideas. Some of my favorite games ever changed the formula from their predecessors. I can't wait to see what they have for Banjo. Log gives Grunty a new body and makes Banjo and Kazooie thin again. If only it was that easy to lose weight in real life. But he refuses to give us our moves from Banjo-Kazooie or Tooie? Okay, well if we don't have our own moves, then what is this game gonna be about? Driving cars? I'll be honest, I did not see that coming when I heard a new Banjo-Kazooie game was coming all these years ago. The main appeal? No, that's not the right word. The core idea of the game is to build vehicles with tons of different parts that you collect throughout the game. And you know what? It's not actually a terrible idea. Every part has its own stats, which basically just show you how good it is compared to other parts that you can use. There are over 100 different parts and range anywhere from engines, body panels, wheels, and even weapons. Basically, the world is your oyster in this regard, and you can create any vehicle you want, however you want. The game even comes with some blueprints to help you build preset vehicles, which function way better than likely anything you can make. Maybe you're different, but I absolutely suck at creating these vehicles. Although to be fair, like half of the fun is just messing around with ridiculous vehicles. Once you have your vehicle finished, you're ready to roll and drive around these vast landscapes that the game has to offer. Yeah, this is so much fun! Yeah. What the f am I supposed to do? Maybe I missed it or something, but I swear to God, the game does not tell you what you are supposed to do once you enter a world with your vehicle. Luckily, I've played this game before, so I know what to do, but if you are a newcomer and know nothing about this game, you'd better make sure to slowly read everything, or you'll just end up driving in circles. And as much fun as that is, it's not fun, by the way. That's not why we're playing this game. We're playing this game to torture ourselves and wish we were playing the original game. After driving around for what feels like 10 hours, you'll eventually find a mission that you need to complete. These are fun, I guess? It feels like no matter what you do in this game, no matter what the mission is, the reward is never worth it and it just feels like a waste of time. There are 6 worlds in this game and it feels like the only thing to do in them is just collect the notes scattered around to buy new parts and that's it. You might as well just jump off your vehicle and run around the worlds on foot. Then you might actually spend some time on this game. Seriously though, I don't understand this. Why do they let you actually run around these worlds without being able to use any of the abilities from the old games? They took all the fun out of the movement and replaced it with cars, and even that shit isn't fun. These worlds are so vast and have pretty good designs and I just want to explore them. There's just one problem. There isn't anything in these fucking worlds. These are the most barren worlds I've ever seen and make the original game roll over in its grave. Here's how I think the level design went down. They created open worlds reminiscent of the older games, potentially with the idea for a remake, which makes perfect sense. But then, they changed the entire formula and gameplay without taking into consideration how that would affect the worlds. If you're not near a mission, there isn't anything to do. Scale the worlds down and make the missions more manageable to find and maybe, just maybe, it would be better. But instead, they kept the old worlds while changing the gameplay, which makes no fucking sense. All I have to say is compare this to this. If you can't see the problem, you need some glasses. The only, and I mean only redeeming quality of this game is that it offered multiplayer. The game even actually received a DLC called Log's Lost Challenges, which added some new missions, mini-games, and multiplayer games. This game got actual DLC, but Super Mario Odyssey didn't? What world do we live in where that makes any sense? Unless Mario Odyssey is getting a sequel, in which case, fair enough. But even with the multiplayer, online, and DLC, this game is just... ugh. After completing enough missions, Banjo and Grunty are transported back to Spiral Mountain where they can have one final showdown. You need to destroy all of Grunty's vehicles, and if you're lucky enough, you can get this incredible camera angle. After you destroy them all, you finally get to have a one-on-one battle like the good old day. Oh, fuck you! The Lord of No Fun stops us from having any kind of classic battle and crowns Banjo the winner of this whole competition or whatever the hell the plot of this game is. Do you care about the plot? Because I don't care. Grunty is forced to work in Log's factory forever where she says she will create her own game. No such game has ever been announced, but please, Rare, if the game is anything like this, just don't. Just don't. But if you give us some sort of platformer from Grunty's perspective, oh my god, I would be first in line to buy that game. Banjo and Kazooie are then given the ownership of Spiral Mountain and are given back their old moves. Finally, they made us wait, but we can actually experience a good old Banjo in HD. Wait. We can't use them, and they are just meant for a future game? It's been 11 years, and we haven't gotten anything! Why can't we have nice things? This game is... I don't even know how to describe it. Banjo-Kazooie was my childhood, and I was thrilled to see a new game coming when this was announced. But this is a disgrace to the entire Banjo-Kazooie name. Banjo was one of the most revolutionary platformers ever and was way ahead of its time. It's a game that touched so many people's hearts and made their childhoods, including my own, so memorable. And to go from that charming, beautiful, exciting adventure those first two games offered to this, you can see why people don't like this game, and that could be an understatement. It's honestly really sad too. So many franchises refuse to move away from a formula that works, so it's nice to see a developer actually step out of their comfort zone and try something that nobody expected. But this is not the way you change a franchise, especially such a beloved series like Banjo-Kazooie. If they had continued to make main series Banjo titles like the so-called Banjo 3E and then made Nuts and Bolts a side game similar to Mario Kart, this could have actually been a really solid game. But by trying to make it a mainline title while also essentially mocking the originals is just a kick in the dick to everyone who's been waiting for years. The game is pretty good looking aesthetically, but the game and level design is just atrocious. Overall, as a video game by itself, I would say it's an okay game. But as a part of a bigger picture with the games that preceded it, holy shit, this game doesn't deserve to even be in the same breath as Banjo-Kazooie or Banjo-Tooie. I know I've been a little harsh on this game, but I just love this franchise so much. I've wanted a Banjo 3 ever since I finished Banjo-Tooie with my brother when I was like 5 years old. And to see this, I don't know if I'll ever recover. Wait, that's right. Banjo is coming to Smash, and he looks like his N64 design. Fuck this game. Banjo is back!